I think we'll see the first moves any moment. There we go. We're off. The quarterfinals in the open section has begun. Gukesh, he's been very impressive himself. He's been quite versatile in the openings, and he starts with d4. Magnus, do you think he's going to show a lot of respect to his young opponent here? Play something super solid?
Well, I'm expecting knight f6, e6. That's kind of almost certain for me, but we know also from Magnus that if you think like, aha, so the commentators think that that's a certainty, then let me try something else.
Yeah, I must admit, I was having dinner with Magnus every evening in Baku, and he was just talking about how tough it is, especially with choosing openings in classical chess. He was like, oh, I'm blocked here, I'm blocked there. My opponent will force a draw here, my opponent will force a draw there. But at least now he's playing an extremely ambitious opponent, so all of those thoughts can go out of his mind. And yeah, he's had a rocky journey himself a bit, Magnus, especially against Vincent Keimer. I think it's time. Yep, there we go. Knight f6. Time to go
knight
solid.
f6. Also, what I noticed that Magnus usually always jadoops his pieces first, but he jadoops the piece with which he will move. But it's kind of funny that it looks like he will play knight f6, but then he jadoops everything. And bishop f4, well, that's a surprise. That's the London.
Wow, London system from Gukesh. I haven't seen him employ that for a while. I know it's in the arsenal, the repertoire of every top player these days. But Magnus, he's one of the main proponents of the London. Bit of a surprise here, gotta say. Ever since that kind of led to this slightly slower endgame with the imbalance and black with a better structure. I mean, he's not made any blunders, Gukesh. But there we go. He does fall to defeat. Magnus takes the win and only needs a draw with the white pieces tomorrow to progress to the semi-finals. Okay, so I'm predicting he'll Jadoub his, adjust his e-pawn first in front of his king. Oh, wow. He starts with the b1 knight, Peter.
That's not gonna happen. Yeah, that's for sure. But yes, I always love this, that before you start your game, you just have to make sure that everything is ready. And let's see. Final touch and e4.
And e4. Yeah. Also, I noticed Magnus always pushes his knights. It looks like Gukesh as well. He turns them inwards. I'm always kind of a front facing man there. Wow. Okay. The c3 Sicilian from Magnus Carlsen. You rarely see this one.
Yes, but of course it's a very annoying setup to face with the black pieces. And we talked about it, that Gukesh had to make up his mind how he will deal with the open Sicilian. But Magnus says, no, thank you very much. I'm going to force you into the Alapin. And we see d5.
Yeah, and Magnus likely to capture that pawn. I don't want to say that I had any influence on this, but when I was in a situation in the tie breaks in round 2 where I just needed a draw with white, I also played the c3 Sicilian, and that worked very well. So yeah, it tends to be an opening where you're relatively solid and some bailout opportunities for white if you need. And okay, we see d5, this variation with queen takes as well. Yeah, I must say I've seen Magnus on the black side of this plenty of times, but I'm trying to recall even one time that he's employed this with white. we will see. Yeah, the final position was just completely locked up, and nice touch here. The players discussing the game afterwards. Magnus, oof, he got through a really hairy position there. He was in big trouble, but ultimately defending extremely well.
Yeah, Gukesh was
the future
for sure, but also Gukesh showed tremendous mental strength. Yeah, fighting, pushing Magnus all the way to the limits.